Welcome back on Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta. We ask you to head over to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into your browser, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell us what you think about the show. Give us a review, give us some comments, feedback about it. Always like to see the interaction. I do go through and read all of the comments that y'all put there, so definitely appreciate all the feedback, and certainly, feel free to be a part of our ever-growing community. And, of course, I want you to follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. All right, you want a little bit of fun research? This is not going to be necessarily fun for an Atlanta Falcons fan. There is a Twitter handle, and the profile name is Computer Cowboy, and the handle is at Ben B. Baldwin. At Ben B. Baldwin is the Twitter handle on all this. They went through and graded all 160 starting offensive linemen this season in the NFL. So based upon what we know, projected starters, everything like that, okay? They went through, and with analytics, they went through and ranked all 160 starting offensive linemen by expected pass protection grade. Are you with me? So take expected pass protection grades, and they ranked all 160 starting offensive linemen in the league, right? 32 teams, 5 starters, okay? Now, for the Atlanta Falcons, because that's what we care about, right? The good news is that Jake Matthews comes in at number 20. He is the 20th rank. Actually, he's sort of tied for 19th with Andrew Norwell. I'm surprised that Lindstrom, I did not see Lindstrom in the top 20, and I haven't had a chance to go through the middle of all of this, but Jake Matthews comes in, in the 94th percentile of offensive linemen in the league in pass protection at number 20. And just to give you an idea, the Browns, Joel Bitonio, he's number 1. Bakhtari is 2. Both those guys are in the 100% percentile. Ronnie Staley, Zach Martin, Joe Thuney. Okay, you got it, right? All the top guys. So Matthews comes in the top 20, which is good. Okay, I thought Chris Lindstrom would be there, but like I said, I didn't get a chance to go through the middle of this order, okay? What I care about is this, though. And when we talk about stats and analytics and what they mean and things like that, as Jarvis says to me, stats and analytics confirm what we already know, right? Confirms what the eye test is. So let's go to the bottom 20. These are the 20 lowest rated pass protection grade offensive linemen in the league. Again, remember, regardless of position, center, guard, tackle, doesn't matter. Okay? You with me? Okay. Guess who comes in? Because there's 160, right? At number 152 is Caleb McGarry. So he's your starting right tackle. Oh, it gets worse. Coming in at number 155 is Matt Hennessy, your starting center. Oh, we're not done. Coming in dead last at 160 is your starting left guard, Jalen Mayfield, who's in the 1 percentile. 1 percentile. Hennessy is in the 5 percentile. McGarry is in the 7. So 3 of the starting Falcons offensive linemen rank 152, 155, and 160 as far as worst offensive linemen in pass protection in the league. That is staggering. Now, I keep going back to this. People are, well, give Jalen Mayfield a chance of getting better. Great. So he won't be the worst offensive lineman in the league. Does that mean he'll be one of the 5 worst offensive linemen in the league or whatever? I will say this, and I will continue to preach it. And if the Falcons do it, all the same things that happened last year will happen this year. You cannot have Jalen Mayfield and Matt Hennessy stand side by side with one another on your offensive line and start. You can't start those 2 guys standing together. You can have one. You want to tell me Mayfield? You want to tell me Hennessy? Fine. But you can't have both. And it all proved out. And I said that this would be a disaster last year, and it turned out to be. You have arguably two of the five worst pass protection offensive linemen in the league that are on your offensive line. There are only five guys worse in pass protection grade than Hennessy, and nobody's worse than Mayfield. You can't do that. And when I talk about offensive philosophy, it all gets back around to these same things. When you don't have your offensive line fixed, first off, you have a quarterback who doesn't throw it as much. He's going to be running for his life. I don't care if it's Mariota, Ritter, whatever like that. When those guys are back there passing, they're going to, Marcus Mariota came from Tennessee. There's no Jake Conklin and Taylor Lewan and all those guys they had. He had all those guys in Tennessee. And that's part of why Derrick Henry could run for 2,000 yards, because he's got one of the top 5 offensive lines in the NFL. Wait till they get a reality check of going behind McGarry and Hennessy and Mayfield. Think about what poor Chris Lindstrom has to play around. He has 3 of the 10 worst pass protection offensive linemen, which is remarkable that he did not give up a sack and only had 2 penalties on the year. Tells you even how much better his season really was, playing with all those slugs around him. So, again, I know they brought in competition with a Fetty and this and that, and, they brought in a guy that could play left. Okay, there damn sure better be some competition, and there damn sure better be some money that they have left after they sign their draft class. And we saw Drake London sign his contract yesterday. Good. Get your draft class signed. Go out and find me a free agent. And honestly, you want to wait till after June 1st cuts? See if we can find at least a competent offensive lineman, because that's not fixed. And that should horrify you as a Falcons fan. Hey, remember when I said, oh, it's great we got Pitts and London and we put 2 top 10 picks in, but 5 things have to happen before either of those guys can make an impact on the field. Well, one of those 5 things is your offensive line has to block. And the fact that we have the worst, one of the 6 worst, and one of the 10 worst pass blocking offensive linemen in the league isn't a good thing. And it goes back to why you have to invest on your line of scrimmage. How are you going to do anything when you don't have that? So I hope the Falcons find a way to find a decent free agent to come in here and bring some real competition. But I'm going to tell you once again, and I'll say it a million more times, you can't start Hennessy and Mayfield together on this line again, or all that is history repeating itself. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's what will happen if you put those 2 guys back together on this offensive line. All right, when we come back, Gary Barta, the AD for Iowa, is everything that is wrong with collegiate athletics and the mindset of it. We'll talk about that next. It's Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.